That's Deep Purple right here on your Classic Metal Show. Just Burn. And just before that, we heard some Snowblind from Black Sabbath. So there's some couple classic bands for you oldies. You old fucks who enjoy that stuff.
That was pretty old.
It was old. But we got a couple of guys in the chat room who enjoy that old stuff. Now, James, you've, obviously you have kind of been out of the loop for a while, but I know that you still kind of pay attention a little bit to, what we do here on the show periodically.
I do. It's nice to listen in, and I feel like, part of a little family that grows, and some of the callers and hearing their accounts, and like, it's kind of like sitting around at a bar where it's not noisy crowd, you could hear everybody, and you're just telling stories and talking about stuff. And I'm like, I can't be with these guys, but I'm like 2 hours away and in the middle of nowhere, but I got internet and I got a phone and headphones, and I'm going to listen to this while I do whatever else I do.
Sure. Absolutely. Now, what are your thoughts on our social commentary? We kind of discuss various topics, whether it's social media or political correctness or, things that affect all of us as kind of, middle-aged people that, when you and I were, in our teenage years or in our early 20s, none of this was an issue, but now all of a sudden everything is an issue. Do you have opinions on that now, or do you care about that, or do you even have thoughts on that?
I feel like everything works itself out in one way or another. There's a lack of social consciousness and correctness. Back when, say, my parents were children, the way children were raised and families were structured, and you just got beat when you fucked up, and that was it. It was commonly acceptable. They still had corporal punishment in public schools when I was in elementary school, and now you can't do that. Harsh with that sometimes, and in the hands of somebody who can use that as a psychological abuse tactic, I guess it can be dangerous. So there's that. But we didn't have fucking school shootings then either. You get your ass beat in front of the class,
right?
That's what it is. Just straighten that shit up. You go through that once, or you see some other kids go through that, and you're like, I don't want that shit happen to me. Fuck that. You're second grade and fucking a line of kids getting paddled, and they're like, and the day you're up there, I'm like, until they cry. And you look at that now, and it's like, that's how we were raised. I mean, it's probably very outdated and brutal, and again, psychologically damaging. But
do you really believe that, though?
It was just normal. And kids at Catholic schools got it worse.
Oh, yeah.
They were hand smacked with rulers and shit. The nuns lived to be, brutal to kids because you were not doing them a service, was the attitude. You were doing them a disservice by not disciplining them and, putting the fear in it, Now parents are friends with their kids.
Oh, yeah.
Treat them like that. You have the whole millennial, generation. And I know kids that age they're good kids and they have good heads on their shoulders, but there's such a sense of entitlement, that I never had. You work for what you deserve, not you expect it or somebody else is going to make sure it happens for you. That's kids do. Teenagers are always going to have issues with, the hands off. Let's empower the child. The child, runs our lives, not the other way around. Our parents run children's lives. I think it has something to do with it. It's I don't know. It's a devolution of, of you don't have that anymore. Now you fuck up, well, you're not going to get your ass kicked, because otherwise you're going to, have a battery charge. And,
right.
And everyone goes to, the tattletale on somebody, You didn't tell on somebody. You got your ass kicked after school. You kept your mouth shut. You probably deserve that shit,
Right.
Don't fuck up again.
So you kind of are of an old school mentality that you don't really subscribe to today's thought process that the kids kind of, run, the inmates run the prison,
All right. And it takes a village, but if the whole village is, I'm not touching that, it's my kid, I'm going to get sued if I do, There's no, cohesiveness of raising children and instilling some kind of common value. You see and I hear comedians say this and see memes and such that, kids in the 70s, we didn't have knee pads, helmets, and shit. You went out and you fucking built a ramp in the woods and drove your dirt bike over.
Yeah, of course.
Some kid falls down, scratches his knee, bleeding all over the place. Well, he probably deserved it. He needs to pedal harder. But you got to let him do it.
Yeah.
You can get up, and who's the comedian? I think it was Louis Black. I think it was him. Could have been somebody else. It's like, that's how we weeded out the dumb ones.
Yeah, you weed out the selection. Yeah, you weed out the weak.
I made it through that. I got my ass beat. I fucking fell in a ditch once doing stupid bike tricks, and learned my lesson. But am I a better person for it? Probably. Were they too harsh? Am I psychologically damaged from it? Maybe. I don't know. But, if I didn't have any rules and any fear at that age, then I would have evolved to this person now that didn't adhere to rules or respect them.
Right. Well,
are we getting old? Is that what this is?
Well, no. The reason I ask is I was just trying to get a gauge on where you are mentally and
that's my crazy laugh. That just happened. I didn't even mean for it
because I do have some socially charged stories here that I wanted to see if I could get your take on them.
Yeah, I mean, you get people talking, and that's what the dialogue is about. People don't have to agree, but to hear someone else's opinion and consider that creates dialogue, and that's how disagreement is healthy. It's the fucking just losing your mind because someone's opinion is different.
Right.
Oh, he's a Republican. I'm going to defriend him on the Facebook.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, yeah, that's probably going to change their mind. Oh, I better reconsider my political stance because so-and-so just defriended me over something I posted. Well, that's where we're at now. It's retaliatory,
Yeah, well, I always make the joke. There's some blocked user in your future there, pal.
There is.
Boy, I'm going to teach you a thing or three.
I'm not political. I have my own, political leanings, and I'm very laissez-faire and libertarian. Do your own thing and just don't hurt anyone.
Yeah.
Gay people should get married and guard their marijuana plants with machine guns. I'm okay with that as long as they, they're not, tripping and falling on the sidewalk in front of my house and suing me. And fuck, go put the salt on it. It's a community. Wear proper footwear.
Well, what you're advocating there is personal responsibility.
Yeah, you take care of if you fuck up and you're a nuisance or cause harm or problems to everybody else, the community should get together and just beat your ass, and then you're going to get it right.
Exactly.
Self-policing.
All right. Well, let me see what. Let me get a gauge on what your thoughts are on here. So, Michigan parents were left. And these are two of our favorite words here on the show. I don't know if you've noticed this or not. They were left shocked and outraged.
I believe it.
Those are our two favorite, trigger words, shocked and outraged. Now, let me ask you something. You've been around a while. Have you ever known anyone in any situation where anyone was ever shocked and outraged?
When CC Banana got tackled by Johnny Monaco at the New Jersey State.
Yeah, shocked and outraged. I don't know anybody in my life who's ever been shocked and outraged. They have an opinion on something, but I've never seen anyone just lose their shit.
It's usually a personal thing. Like, I can't believe that fucking dude dicked me over.
Yeah.
Stole my parking spot. That motherfucker.
Yeah.
Shocked and outraged.
Yeah, but so many of those stories, they always have to throw in, well, they were shocked and outraged. Really? I haven't noticed that. No matter where I've gone, I've never noticed that. I've seen people be disagreeing on things, but I've never seen them shocked and outraged. Like, I can't believe this happened. You know what I mean? So anyway, Michigan parents were left shocked and outraged after a racist, that's another term that pops up quite frequently, racist. Everything is racist. No matter what it is, it's racist. Comment was made during the February 3rd meeting about a diversity. That's another one. Diversity and inclusion. You ever see those two words together constantly?
Higher ed marketing uses them a lot. But
Diversity and inclusion. And inclusion at Saline Area Schools. Footage of the incident posted by M Live and Good Morning America showed an immigrant father, Adrian Iraola. I can't tell you which of this guy's name is. Iraola. Speaking to a group of parents about his son's difficulty experiencing at the school. I went into his bedroom to say goodnight, and he was crying because of the abuse he was enduring in the school system, according to the video. But the comment from one male Caucasian, the evil white man.
All right.
One Caucasian parent in the crowd led to visible gasps from the room.
That's like an O face, but in shocked and
shocked
outraged.
and outraged and gasping.
So descriptive.
Yeah. Then why didn't you just stay in Mexico?
Wasn't he from Eastern Europe with a name like that? Why would I go to Mexico?
You need to leave, one parent yelled at that man, while another one said, that is disgusting.
Holy shit.
Shock and outrage. Brian Wright, his name should have been Brian White, whose son was among a group of black football players. Notice everything about this article. Everything targets everybody. He's Mexican. He's white. He's Caucasian. He's black. You know, it's just like, why aren't we just people?
We're blending together, you know. There's nobody that's, you know, actually racially pure.
But we have to point that out, though.
You know, diversity and inclusion is, you know, supposed to be a good thing in this country. Otherwise, you're just segregated, and we might as well live in tribes.
Yeah, well, that's the whole thing. That's what this does, is segregates everybody. Well, you're black. Well, you're Caucasian. Well, you're Mexican. Well, you're instead of just saying, yeah, a group of parents. Well, this Mexican parent said this to this Caucasian parent that said this to this black parent. You know, it's divide.
And this is a legitimate news source.
Yeah.
Because it sounds like it's trying to stir controversy.
But isn't that what sells newspapers and advertising, is to try to stir up that controversy where people will want to read that? Oh, look at the discord here. Look at how people are all upset here. It's like, what happened? Oh my God. You know,
it sensationalizes
those things. That's exactly right.
Just a mainstream, here's the facts news source doesn't exist. It has to be packaged because, you know, it's news-based entertainment. You know, I keep telling, I have relatives that watch both sides of the spectrum. They're watching MSNBC or Fox News and, you know, riled up and yelling at the TV. And I'm like, that's not news. That's entertainment.
Yeah.
It is entertainment. It's why you're watching it. Entertainment doesn't have to be, laughing and forgetting your troubles. I mean, public executions are a form of entertainment, right?
Yeah.
We're going to kick this guy's ass and then we're going to hang him. Don't fuck up. Don't be that guy. Oh man, what did he do? Threw his underwear out the window. That's what you're going to get.
Exactly.
People not doing that shit if they have some kind of fear.
Brian Wright, whose son was among the group of black football players allegedly subjected to racist comments on Snapchat.
Oh, Lord.
Prior to the meeting, immediately scolded the man for his offensive remark. It's always offensive.
That's going to be offensive to somebody.
Yeah.
I bet this show is offensive to somebody sometimes.
Oh, this show is extremely offensive to so many people.
But it's entertainment.
Yeah.
You're listening because you're going to get offended and hear people get riled up. There is delight in watching somebody else have a meltdown. There is. Message boards, chat rooms. I mean, you see it on your site. Sledge was notorious for that. You know, people would egg people on and having a complete meltdown. And then you can point at him and go, look, he's fucking lost his shit, you know, because they get so irate and they're trying to express their anger and realize that you just got played into doing that.
Yeah. That's indicative of what our kids are experiencing. Comments like that, Wright said, according to the video. He's sharing a story now, and that's indicative of what our kids are experiencing. Wright later told Good Morning America, I had a natural reaction to stand up and confront him, but by and large, people were supportive. There were lots of tears, lots of remorse, and I think it was awakening for those people that were unaware that racism exists. You ever notice that everything is about the feels now? It's about the tears, and this is how it made me feel, and I'm not,
Let's talk about our feelings.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like, why don't you deal with this head on in a rational, logical manner instead of, oh, this hurt my feelings and it brought me to tears and I was upset. And
it's triggering, and it reopen old emotional wounds that haven't completely healed yet.
Yeah.
I'm damaged. Hey, I see both sides of all that. I grew up, probably like you, in an era where public displays of were frowned upon.
Yeah, because
it's
weakness. It's weakness. That's why it was frowned upon. It's just like, buck up, you fucker. Get up.
Keep your feelings private. If you're the kid who just bawls for hours every time he gets his ass kicked, even if he's not even... Kids aren't going to be that brutal to him. You're not getting, like a public stoning. They're just fucking pushing the kid off the bike, call him names, and kick his backpack away. And he's just crying. Well, they don't even have to do much to get him to cry. They're just stand around and watch him cry and make call him names. Kid's going to tough him up, or he's going to, lose his shit. And, we didn't have that many teen suicides that I remember when I was growing up.
I don't know of any when I was growing up.
They happened, but they weren't like
it wasn't an epidemic.
It's a contagion of, being demonstrative. I get it that it's usually a cry for help. Emotions are strong. We don't know how to effectively process them because we've never been taught. Everybody develops bad coping mechanisms, and then and a lot of that can be explosive anger, which alienates people and it's triggering, and very dividing. Or you just clam up and you internalize it, and then you get, that emotion is going to come out some way. People have health issues or seizures or whatever, vices that they channel that into. It's really not that complicated, but people still like to push these buttons to make that stuff happen,
Yeah, well, I agree, and I think you've probably seen it. I mean, I don't know anybody who hasn't seen it, but you've seen the movie The Christmas Story, right?
Oh yeah.
Well, remember the Ralphie and the Christmas Story that Scott Farkas was picking on him and all that, and he just finally got out. He just got that rage. Yeah, he just had it. He had the rage build up and went over there and just started wailing on his ass.
The kid didn't expect that.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden, it was just like, yeah, the kid didn't bother you anymore because you finally stood up and went like, fuck this, I'm not taking this anymore.
Generally, there's it's maybe a respect level, like this kid doesn't stand up for himself, so we're going to pick on him. He's an easy target. And when he does stand up for himself, used to be there is like, all right, I can leave him alone. He fought back, I had whatever. But, now you can't fight back. You go tattle it or you or internalize it or do something dramatic. I mean, and then why we had the Columbine thing, which wasn't the first of those, but it was the biggest news thing that happened. And how commonplace is that now? Now there's a model for dealing with this. You're picked on, you don't say anything, and eventually you snap, and this is how it is. This is what you do when you've had enough. You go shoot up a school. I don't know that I've gotten to the point of solving this or telling people how to fix it. It's just an attitude that people have, and it's changed a lot. And, this is less than a century. And the Christmas Story took place at the time that, my father would have been born. So he would have been a little younger than that. Now that's ancient. He's 82 now, different attitude growing up. My parents were a tad older than other parents around, and not like ancient. They were in their 30s when I was little, and they had some of those old school values. And yeah, it sucked when you were the kid who got his ass beat all the time by his dad, and the other kids' parents are like, oh, they're too strict, But it does mold you for the world. The world is a tough place. You're gonna get your ass kicked one way or another. That's how people get taken advantage of, because they don't want to make a scene or stand up for themselves. Whistleblowers happen now, and it's more commonplace. The Me Too movement and such, it takes a contagion. It takes some people, and we've had enough. This is not right. And then it just...
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore!
That's my mop! UHF. The speech that Michael Richardson's character gives, and somebody steals his mop. That's my mop.
Right.
I'm not taking it anymore. He goes on a speech about how life is like a mop. And
Yeah.
you're like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. Wait, that's Weird Al Yankovic fucking tricking us into thinking that was, meaningful. If you derive meaning from anything that character said, it's good.
Several parents showed support to Iraola at the meeting. You belong here, one woman told him. Iraola kept his composure and answered the man's questions, telling the disassembled parents, he asked me a question, why I didn't stay in Mexico? Because this is the greatest country in the world. Well, the question I have is for him is he a citizen? Is he here illegally, or is he a citizen, or
green card, dual citizenship?
Yeah.
Fake ID. Maybe he's here to party.
Yeah. This led to another outburst, from the man who yelled in the video, but you're complaining about being here. Iraola eventually handed the mic to the offensive parent who attempted to defend his comments and the racism occurring at the school. Well, I got news for you. Mexican is not a race. That's the whole thing. The media always gins this up that, well, if you want to build the wall at the border, or if you want people to immigrate to this country legally, you're a racist. Well, Mexican is not a race.
No. So.
Right. It's not racism all the time. Try being white and walking in a black neighborhood, then see what happens, he said.
It depends on your gender.
Right.
Because it's different.
You're complaining about situations in this incident where somebody made a little tweet. Nobody is hurt in that. Nobody hurt in that. That's what's done off campus. So why does it even concern the school system? Everyone has a right to free speech. After the meeting, Iraola told Good Morning America that the offensive comment felt like an old wound being open. Not just for me, but for my children, he said. Again, it's all, what about the children?
Well,
exactly.
We need Ronnie Dio back. You fix this up.
Well, he cries for the children, because who cries for the children? I do.
Yeah.
Scott Gardner, superintendent of Saline Area School, said in a statement to Good Morning America, this type of bigotry goes against all of the values and beliefs of our school system. We have heard and we are listening to students, parents, and community members throughout the district. We will continue to listen as we move forward and establish additional additions to our actions to support our students. After the meeting, a student who claimed his father was the man making the controversial remarks criticized his dad's offensive question on a Facebook post. Here we are. Everything is social media.
All right.
You know, nobody deals with this stuff like one-on-one. It's always social media. Today, my father asked a deliberately racist question at the Saline Area School Diversity and Inclusion meeting. This is amazing. The teenager wrote, his views of hate, why is it always hate, is in no way representing of my own. I stand in solidarity with the refugees and immigrants of the world. It always boils down to hate.
That sounds like, emotional inciting propaganda.
Again, that's the whole thing. It's all about the feels, man.
Get people riled up and angry, because when they're angry, they're not either paying attention to something else going on,
or they're not being rational.
Or it's a slow news day and they need to stir stuff up because, drama's exciting and people get addicted to it.
Yeah.
There's nothing really happening. Make something up.
Yeah, exactly. So, anyway.
This is a poignant conversation about social issues and attitudes and how it's fueled by media and whatnot. And how did that happen? Hot dogs at the game, man. Get nasty. Beer?
Yeah.
God, man.
Yeah, he's like a walking germ farm, sucking up all that germy beer and all those filthy hot dogs and whatnot. It's just like, oh man.
Well, you need like more bread or something to absorb that. It's just about craft. It's like if you're going to craft your buzz, you got to craft your response to what you're putting into you too, right? So,
right.
You got to watch what you eat. You get older and you start to learn your body don't react to just anything you put into it. Like, it's predictable. It's like, oh, maybe I shouldn't eat those things at this time of day because I'm middle-aged now. And we're just at that age now where all our idols are kind of getting to almost geriatric.
They are. Unfortunately, yeah, that is true.
And dropping off.
Hail and kill caller, you're on the air.
Hello, it's Glenn Bitters calling from Vancouver Island, British Columbia, Canada.
And well, look at you out of the country. You're like a foreigner to us, but we embrace you still.
Well, I've got good news for some of your guys close to the border. Chris Holmes is coming here in April and May.
Oh my God, he's traveling out of France and coming to French Canada.
That's right. He's starting the tour in Montreal and ending it here on Vancouver Island. I got tickets number 1 and 2 to the show.
All right. Are you shitting bricks thinking that you're gonna see Chris Holmes?
I better get with it and listen to that shit before he gets here.
Is he gonna be inflatable flotation device?
Yeah, is he in a flotation device? Will you invite him back to float in your pool and drink some Smirnoff?
Oh, we'll probably invite him to bring him some pizza from our pizza shop out here, and I know he doesn't drink anymore or anything, but we'll bring him some food if he wants, and some Cokes, and some, he likes Coke and Pepsi and Powerade, so we'll bring him all that if he wants.
You're awful generous up there in Canada. Can I come up there and get a free pizza and Cokes and Gatorade and whatever else you...
Well, hell yeah.
It's government backed up there. That's what you get.
Well, Vancouver... small, right? You get someone like Chris Holmes who you'd never expect coming here, right? He's coming to Vancouver, but Vancouver Island at the end of the tour is like, shit, I don't even have to get on the ferry to go see him.
So what is your
right downtown?
What is your motivation to see Chris Holmes? I mean, he's not really a notable singer or anything. I mean, obviously he's very proficient at guitar. So what's your interest in seeing Chris Holmes?
Well, just obviously an 80s icon I never got to see when he was in the Wasp band itself, and I do listen to his solo stuff when I get drunk out in my driveway, barbecuing, getting drunk at night, and, his solo stuff's kind of fun, why not? He's still giving her.
Sure.
No one else, you got a lot of other bands coming. I saw Keel's coming to Canada, and you got Doc and touring, and Motley Crue, and John Jett, and on. You know, it's like like Chris Holmes. You don't see that every day.
Absolutely. Let me ask you something. I knew a guy professionally who was, in a business that I was in previously. He was from Canada. He would throw the word cunt around in his speech. Is that a common thing in your area? Like, yeah, that fucking cunt.
Maybe a British Canadian, I don't know, with that cunt background that they come over with, but I could have some British in his background. They seem to
So
say
that's
that
not a common thing around your area.
No, we're way on the west coast here, right? We're
Right,
the last
right.
tip on
You're north of Seattle.
Wait, you don't have
Right.
cunts in Canada?
We've got
or
a
just
few.
Vancouver?
Yeah, well, Vancouver, right? You look at that place. Chris Holmes show in Vancouver is actually in the worst bar in Vancouver. I can't believe he's playing in it.
No, it's Vancouver.
Vancouver.
Vancouver. Vancouver sounds like a great, like, an 80s hair metal.
What about
tribute
Vancouver?
Vancouver. That's another good one.
Also, I wanted to add, I like the new app. I'm listening on the app now.
Yes.
I used to listen on the Spreaker. It seemed to cut out here a couple times a night, but the new app hasn't cut out at all.
Yeah, the new app is awesome, right?
Oh, it's awesome. It's been great, and I listen to it like during the weeknights and stuff, and because just catch up on older shows but I can't seem to get in the chat room on the app for some reason. I've been trying.
Yeah, I don't know the answer for that, but I would just try it on a computer if you have a computer access and see if you can get in that way, and then maybe you can figure out how to do it on the app, because I don't know the answer.
Yeah, I just keep trying because it tells you to sign in Facebook, which I have, or Twitter, which I don't have, or username. So
well, you can sign up. You can sign up through the chat room and have a unique username if you go through the Rumble Talk.
Okay, I'll try that.
Yeah, try Rumble Talk and create a username and password, and you probably can jump right in there.
Yeah, but newer to the app, and the app's working out great for me. So yeah,
good.
That's the best part. I'm going to let you guys go. And hail and kill, fuck you, pal, hand job, and fuck fake meat.
Well, there's one of our listeners from the Northwest.
Oh, the Great White North.
That's he's up there in
North.
What is it? What was that back in the 80s? Something Bob and something McKenzie.
Bob and Doug McKenzie.
Yeah, Bob and Doug McKenzie. Yeah, exactly. From the Great White North.
Good day.
Exactly.
Bob McKenzie. This is my brother Doug. How's it going, eh?
That was like 80, like 83?
I was like fifth grade. 80. They were on SCTV as a regular recurring skit. It was Dave Thomas and
Rick Moranis.
Rick Moranis.
Yeah.
And then they had Strange Brew. And I think that came out in 83.
Yeah.
Because I saw that in the theater. My mom and dad took me and my little brother to see that. They didn't know. They were like, what are we taking these kids to see? And they were like, oh, okay. They thought it was funny. And so I'm laughing at it. They didn't watch SCTV. That was on like after Saturday Night Live. You had to sneak out and watch the tube monitor.
The Second City TV.
And that was a great show.
Yeah.
That's from. Why am I talking about them? Oh, because Geddy Lee from Rush sang on the commercial version of their song, which I remember hearing on like the radio. Like rock radio played that for like a week.